What would you say you appreciate the most about y'all's relationship, or what she's taught you in life? I mean, obviously they taught us how to be a mom, but
right. I would think kindness.
Definitely.
She was always, everyone always said she was very, just a very sweet lady and
non-judgmental.
Yeah. I think we're both kind of shy, and I think I feel like, we're just nice people. Yeah. I just learned to treat people with kindness and
the way you want to be treated.
And to be the way you want to be treated and do the best you can do. So,
are there things that she taught you, like, that you value? Like, I'm so glad my mom instilled that in me.
Of course.
I mean, I'm sure the kindness, but
yeah.
I don't know if there's...
Love your children, be grateful for what you have. She always tells how she grew up so poor, and believe me, after cleaning out a lot of stuff, we're very grateful. She loved every single thing she received. I'm not kidding you. I think she still has it. Still had it or has it, and I still have a hard time.
There's someone else that does that.
I know I have still such a hard time getting rid of it, because I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I know she loves this. She loved it. Just being grateful and thankful for what you have. She loved going to church. The Methodist church was her place. And she always told me, you got to have faith in God. And that's how I tell myself all the time, you just have to have faith. And it was her time. She did live a long life, and I'm grateful that I got her as long as I
Yeah, because so many don't.
have. That's right.
We know
and
that.
I think about that all the time, too. So I am grateful.
Yeah, you're fortunate for that.
It still makes me sad.
Yeah.
I hate the way she went, but
that
was, we don't.
So can you ever think of a time that just like she just really got embarrassed? Like something that happened to her that was super embarrassing?
Oh my gosh. Do you know something? I don't.
No. But it's a question I've asked, and some people have come up with some pretty funny stories.
Embarrassed. Oh gosh. I'm sure there's something funny, but I can't think off the top of my head.
No.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'll think about that. I'll make a note.
What's your earliest memory of knowing her? It's kind of a silly question.
Well, I do remember, and I can remember it vividly. My mom loved Johnny Carson. And every night after the news, she would get her instant coffee. I could smell the coffee.
That late at night?
Oh my gosh. I'm sure it was decaf.
Yeah.
She would get in her chair, and I think I was born and raised on Johnny Carson. And sometimes I would get in the chair with her. Here I am. I'm thinking I'm so big, and I would just I was a little girl, but
yeah.
I laid over, and I could hear her. I'd fall asleep on her chest, and I could hear her talking or laughing through, the chest or whatever. And I can smell the coffee so vividly, and just watching Johnny Carson and
so maybe that's
sleeping.
Why coffee was her last communication.
It could very well be.
So every morning when you make your coffee, you're going, "Good morning, Mom."
That's right.
I think.
I do. I think about that. I think about a lot of things. I mean, I feel like she's watching me sometimes. I sometimes feel, because I know she hated for me to go to the mall alone, right? And she'd say, "You girls, or you do not need to be at that mall alone by yourself at dark." So anytime I think I'm gonna run there to go shopping, I think of her. I'm thinking, oh my God, my mom is probably thinking, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like she's watching me.
So was she chronically late or chronically early?
Well, I take after my mom.
This is how we know each other.
That's right.
I'm going to tell this story because when we were in high school...
This is how we met.
Our friend Beth Ann, her and I were in a class together, but in the mornings, for some reason, sometimes I would go, like, say I'm going to go to the bathroom and sit in the hallway. And I just remember seeing this cute little blonde girl walk into this class. I'm like, girl, it's 9:10. You know?
It wasn't that late.
Yeah, it was. But anyway, we don't have to get exact. But so then when Beth Ann introduced us, I was like, oh, you're the girl that's always late. And I remember, I think it was that year, the teacher goes, if you show up on time the rest of the year, I won't fail you, or something like that.
Yep.
I think she did manage to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to rat her out.
We're going to rat
44 years of friendship.
That's right. That's right.
And she's always late. And I just accept it. I'm like, yeah, well, if you want her to be on time, you better tell her, like, maybe
I'm
30,
fashionably
40.
Late.
That's what she's making, a fashionable entrance to, no matter what it is.
Exactly right.
She did show up to my son's wedding on time, so I'm going to give you kudos for that.
We got there very early.
Yeah. But anyway.
I'm getting better with age, a little bit. I'm definitely a night owl. I can stay up all night. My mom was too. Both my parents. And we're just night owl people. And we would stay up all night, watch TV or whatever, and sleep late. My mom and dad both. They were not early bird people. So it's really weird
so
for having older. Yeah, for having, you know how older people get up early, crack it on.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Not you.
But
Guess that means you're young.
That's right. That's right.
So what was her favorite color?
Pink, of course.
Favorite flower?
What did my mom like? Gosh, she liked all flowers.
Flowies.
Flowies. That's what she called them because Mackenzie always called them flowies, so she called them flowies. That's funny you remember that.
Well, I think Carson said it too.
We all say flowies.
Yeah.
Gosh, she likes roses. She was in Beta Sigma Phi, so she liked the yellow rose. I think she liked all flowers, especially if they were pink.
And what was her favorite music?
She loved that big band, Glenn Miller, big band music, era music. She loved Frank Sinatra, but anytime my mom always wanted to dance too. She always like, oh, I'd love to go dancing. We used to dance all the time. She was always funny because she loved to dress up and live the life.
And she did.
And she did.
Yeah.
She cracks me up.
Was there anything like this, like a piece of clothing or whatever, something you just kept because you're like, oh, I just cannot part with that?
Gosh.
Or an item. I mean, I know there's a lot of items. Not as many as some people I know, but.
Yeah. Well, we got rid of a lot because of the fire.
Yeah. Well.
So we lost a lot of stuff, and a lot of her clothes got wet and moldy, and we had to throw them away.
So she really didn't probably have anything like from a long past of clothing.
Yeah, I can't find. She does have a coat, a wool coat. She has another coat from Oregon that are very, 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 very old, and I have them in the back of the closet. I just can't part with them yet. She has her wedding dress from my sister's, her dad's wedding, from that wedding. I think I found, even though it's yellow, I wish we would have found it sooner. And then, oh gosh, what does she have that I'm like, oh, I can't get rid of? There's a lot of stuff. But I feel like there was something on the tip of my tongue. Well, we were talking about clothes, stuff. Oh, I found her diary. Okay, so my mom, when she was,
that's a good one.
I found her diary. She got it when she was a little girl. I am not kidding you. It is hanging on by a thread. And it's hysterical to read, but I open it. Well, my sister and I were like, should we read it? I wonder what's in there. You know, that's after she passed away. But of course I have it. And I even have it on my nightstand right now because the other night I thought, but the pages I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look through it. But
I would like at least take pictures of the pages in case it gets disintegrated.
Well, yeah, they're so disintegrated.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh, she had everything. But I looked through that and her comments are hysterical. Went to school, came home, helped Norma. She was always staying with somebody, but she was a lot younger than her other sisters. You know, she had 1, 2, 3, about 6, 7, siblings. It always seemed like she was staying with somebody, and maybe it was just because
they're all gone now.
They are.
Yeah.
There's no one left.
Yeah.
Yep. She was the last to go. So anyway, so that was that, and then I know what else she has. She has a Shirley Temple doll, which she told Whitney that she was willing that to Whitney. And right now it's like in a little box, and I got it out the other day because it's kind of falling apart. But she got that when she was 10 years old, and she really, for all these years, she's wanted to redo the dress in this pink dotted Swiss in the original like fabric, and it's been really, really hard to find. And I've been searching now to see if I could find like a doll hospital that I trust, because I think there's one in New York you can send it to, and they fix it up and send it back. But that doll, she's 10 years old. I mean, she's almost 100 years old, right?
Yeah.
So I have her, and of course I'm not going to get rid of that, but I can't think of anything else really except.
So did she have a signature saying or anything that she would say all the time? You're just like, making you laugh, like.
Well, every time she dribbled hot sauce, she'd say, "Oh crap, I got something on my shirt already." So we always laughed at that, and to this day, whenever that happens, our whole family says, "Oh crap." So
awesome.
She was funny because hearing that come out of a sweet little lady's mouth, it was it was just funny.
She wasn't a cursor.
No, she liked to say crap or shit.
Oh shit. So is there anything you felt like you left unsaid
that I wish I would have told my mom?
Yeah.
No, but she knew I loved her, and just I think being a shy,
that was obvious,
German lady.
Yeah. She
was not one to say I love you a lot, right? So I probably didn't hear that a lot either from my mom or my dad. My sister were just.
But they did it in their actions.
Yeah, they did it in their actions. And I think as she got older, she said it. And I told her I loved her very, very much. And I was with her all the time. And I'm so happy I got to spend that time with her because, I know it's hard and everyone's
like, the best of the last few years.
Yes.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I'm very happy that I got to spend that time with her. And I just love her so much, and I miss her.
Yeah. She was an awesome lady.
She was. Miss Marlene.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about your dad?
Well, then there's Ross. No, I love my dad very, very much. I think of him a lot, too, because it's weird that, he passed away in 2016.
Yeah.
And he just really just died of old age. There was just nothing.
Well, health issues.
And you were with me that day at the hospital. Remember how he was kind of hallucinating? You could tell things were kind of shutting down, and we were like, kept looking out the window. But my dad was a handful. He liked to drink his beer.
We got in trouble.
He liked to hang out at the American Legion. He was not, I would say, the perfect guy, but at the end of the day, he was a lot of fun, and he was my dad, and I love him very, very much.
Sense of humor.
Mm-hmm. He could be
So one night, Tracy and I.
Oh gosh, are you gonna have to tell this story?
Yes, because it's funny. It's like one of my favorite memories. We were premature.
You're gonna make me drink. I'm teasing.
We were prematurely in bars. Let's just put it that way.
But they didn't know that.
We had some sweet friends that brought us home one night. We were friends, but they were two males. And we sat out in the front of the house and just chit-chatting. And all of a sudden, her dad comes barreling out of the house with his wife-beater tank top and boxers.
Sleeves, military, Air Force.
I don't remember.
Yeah. No.
Something like that.
Undershirt and underwear.
He thought these boys were not up to no good, and they were fine. But to this day, we would laugh about it, and
It was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing at the time, but we still laughed. We were like, oh my God, these guys probably think.
We never saw them again.
Needless to say, they probably don't know it, but they were quite a bit older than us. But they were very respectful guys. No problem.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh, Lord.
We were crazy, and he had every right to be worried about us.
No, he loved me very much. He knew a lot about me. I mean, there would be sometimes when I came home and I knew things weren't going right with my first marriage, right? This is one thing I'll never forget about him. He was coming out of the garage, and I drove up, and of course I'm alone, and he's like, so what's going on?
Where's your ex? Yeah.
Well, he was kind of like,
Or where's your husband?
he just basically said, what's going on? Things aren't okay, right? I mean, he knew. I think he could tell.
Yeah,
It was a
instinct.
father's instinct. And I'm like, no, So I boo-hooed to him. I feel like sometimes he and I talk more about that kind of stuff, more than my mom and I. But, anyway, he knew.
Yeah.
I think he knew going in day one what I was getting myself into, and probably was hoping I wouldn't go there, but I did.
Well, you always want more for your kids, and he probably had that instinct that things weren't going to be what you thought.
Right. I mean, I think
it was just a different,
I think they liked him a lot, and the family and everything. But but they do love Jim Evans. They did love Jim Evans too when I met Jim. So anyway, but my dad
could see that he was going to take care of you and be a support.
he was a good guy. I mean, he's a lot older.
He's a lot older.
Jim.
Oh.
My dad too. No,
Sure,
anyway, Ross Broom
Jim
was a good
doesn't watch
guy.
this.
He was always funny and full of jokes, and he retired young. He could have done probably a lot more, but anyway,
He was happy.
he died in 2016, February 8th. It was Super Bowl Sunday, Lord. Super Bowl Sunday, 2016. His birthday was February 16th. We had his funeral on his birthday, and then he was buried in Warren, Arkansas, where he grew up.
Yeah.
So I do feel bad that, I think about him all the time, and I think I want to go up. I want to go to Arkansas to see him and, see if there's anyone left. They have a museum there with it's a military museum. So he was in the Air Force, and they have his pictures and his sister and his brother.
That's nice.
Yeah. So the Broom family is well known in Warren, Arkansas, if you're ever out there.
Well, I just appreciate you coming
I
and
know.
talking
Thank you so
about
much.
your parents. I loved them, very much, and they were always like second parents to me. So celebrating
They
them.
were. They loved you too, Tracy.
Well,
They love it.
I mean,
The
what's not to love?
whole
I'm just kidding.
Seeberger family.
I'm grateful that I knew them and got to know them, and through all our shenanigans, they never judged me.
Well, no.
Great.
No.
Now the truth comes out.
No.
Well, let's don't put it on here.
No.
You can tell me after.
No. My mom, they loved
No.
you very, 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 very much.
Well,
And
I'm just-
Chase, my mom
Yeah,
adored
yeah.
Chase with all her heart.
He was
And that's
everybody's
that's a
favorite.
funny story because remember, my mom had her store, and we can end it on this, but my mom had her store, and Chase came in with Tracy to the store, and we were like, the cash register was just a very big thing for him. And I'll never, we were like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he goes, I want to be a manager of Target.
Obviously, I frequented Target.
Yes.
So-
He goes, I want to be a manager one day of Target. And it was just so cute.
Rich
and,
high, son.
yeah, adorable. And they love Kennedy and Elliot. And I love you too.
Me
So we
too.
love
I'm
you
so
too.
glad you did this.
Yes, thank
And I
you
know
so
that
much.
it was a
I
little
know.
anxiety, but
I was a little nervous, but
that's okay. It's number one, it's hard talking about stuff like this.
yeah.
Or
It was
rehashing
good. It was good.
But I try to bring the joy out of it because there might be somebody listening that's like, I'm struggling so much with the loss of my parent. And I feel like if you could find or give somebody hope for the future, like, one day I'm going to be okay, because you can talk about them and laugh, and that's where we're trying to get people,
Right.
And I just think it helps. I wish this would have been around for me as I went through my stuff, or I'm still going through it. What am I talking about? But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I just want to give somebody hope. So.
Yeah. Very good. Very nice.
Well, I appreciate anybody who has watched or is watching, and we want to wish Marlene a happy Mother's Day, and when Father's Day comes, we want to wish Ross a happy Father's Day. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Bye.